Alright, so boom, what's going on, everybody? Listen, we're back here with Day Before the Lie. Yeah, the lie that they're telling us, okay? Now listen, the only reason I haven't... There's nothing, literally nothing happened with this game. There's no reason I'm talking about it. There's no reason. It's just, for some reason... Like recently, people are rediscovering the game because it's been out almost like since like around 2 years, a year, and people are like, "Oh, this game exists again." There's been nothing to show for this game, and I'm still very much telling people, I'm warning people, like, you're gonna come back to this video. I promise you. I promise you. You're gonna come back to this video saying that this and this means that and that and that, and I was right. Okay. Now the first video, I think I did two. Or I at least did one, right? And real quick before we even get into this is overall. I got some notes here that I want to talk about the topics, but it's overall going to be a rant. So if you don't want to hear somebody rant about it, just go ahead and click off now. I don't really care. But the point is, right? I talked about it the first time. Got a lot of hate, right? Got a lot of views, but I got a lot of hate, and I got a lot of hate because I was doubting the project, listen, if you looked at it from my perspective and how I said it and how I went about it, you will see too. Let me get a drink. Hold on. Alright, so, check me out. Through the whole, it's been around half, it's almost the end of the year, right? Almost the end of this year. It was supposed to release, I think a couple days ago. Yeah, we'll see the date at the end of this trailer. It's going to loop back a couple times, but, like, honestly, I want to make this a warning, okay? I want to warn people to save their money, to save their time. Don't sit in the Discord asking this and that. Guys, just don't even think about this game, to be honest, okay? Because first off, let's talk about it. There has been and you can double check this with any trailer they release. They have not shown a single multiplayer scene. Now you may see, but in the reveal trailer, they went to that police house, and then they went to the gas station. That wasn't multiplayer. That was not another player. No fidgeting, no movement. You can look at even GTA role players don't even move that smooth. G, like, come on, like, no, that's at the bare minimum, it's probably peer to peer, right? Co-op type, basically co-op, but I highly doubt it. It doesn't look like it doesn't look like it's an AI, right? But it doesn't look like it's a person. Maybe pre-recorded movements, something like that. There's been no indication that's legitimately like multiplayer. There's no username. Obviously, you're gonna turn off the HUD and all that stuff for the for the cinematic trailer and the game trailer and all that. But. No. That's actually a point I just made. You see how most games will take off like the reticles, all that stuff when it comes down to trailers. But how if that's a real person, and we're supposed to just you know how multiplayer games is. They have the username at the top, maybe a color if it's your teammate, maybe it's not, maybe just a standard gray, whatever. But first off, they move fidgety. There's no, even GTA role players don't move smooth, bro. Look at all the footage. Look at the trailer. Look at the when they got cornered inside that store and he threw the grenade. That was definitely not multiplayer. I guarantee that. They're way too smooth, and so it's not smooth. No icons or usernames, stuff like that, right? And you can't really say, they turned it off for the thing, because that's what I thought at first when I was saying it. But I just realized they had the health, they had the code, all the stats, the health bar, all that in the bottom corner. So why wouldn't they just leave the? First of all, why wouldn't you just leave that the username in if you had such a thing, right? If it's a multiplayer game. And it's similar to what they're trying to portray, is gonna have usernames. When a game comes out, even if it's shit or not, they will have usernames. Okay, that doesn't mean I was wrong. That just means the trailer didn't have multiplayer. Like I'm saying, they have not shown any multiplayer functionality with it. Like 100% guarantee. They applied it. I mean, they're suggesting it. They're not saying, this was multiplayer, but they saying it first off. There's gonna be a multiplayer game, so you would just assume that if there's another player moving, right? Look at the screen. Look. Look at the guy in the red hoodie. Smooth, no jittery, no movement function. Like, I don't know if you guys realize this, but I'm a developer, right? And developers may notice more things than the average consumer, right? People move a lot. People will fidget a lot. They move a lot. They'll do a lot of stuff. You see people that run around. Like all right, take a game like Rust. Yeah, we'll say Rust. If you know why jumping is slow in Rust? Because they don't want you to be sitting there jumping around. Games that have a long if you got a track somewhere, like if you let's say in Rust, like example Minecraft, you gotta walk everywhere, walk here, run this, blah blah blah. Why do people jump? Well, yeah, it makes you faster, but what if it didn't? There's plenty of games that you could jump and it won't even, that doesn't even matter, okay? But people would find something to do while doing a monotonous task, right? So they'll jump around on CSGO while they're walking. They'll inspect their gun. They'll spam inspect it. They'll do the thing, right? So people, when they're doing something monotonous or easy or slow or something that's just gonna take a long time, they'll do something in the meantime to keep them busy. Like they'll talk on the phone, they'll be doing this, that, and that, and some of them jump, fidget around. These movements are way too smooth. Way too smooth. You might be looking at you might be looking at the user character, the camera. You might be looking at it from the camera perspective of the user and say he's moving smooth too. That's completely different, okay? The reason I'm saying fidgeting is because of lag and desync, stuff like that will be more visible on your teammate, quote unquote, rather than you. You know what I'm saying? So first of all, not multiplayer. So right now they're currently, because they probably are, okay, they are switching over to a new engine, Unreal 4 to 5. It don't take a year. We already talked about that in our last video, so I ain't gonna talk about that no more. What I'm gonna talk about is right now they're building a whole multiplayer system, massive multiplayer system online, massive. I'm guarantee you. Listen. I love Cyberpunk more than anybody else. This is gonna be a Cyberpunk. It's gonna get hyped up so high, super high to the tippy top, right? And it's gonna be bare bones. It could be a lot of things that's wrong with it, but I guarantee you the systems are gonna be unorganized, and the multiplayer is gonna be buggy as hell. That's the guarantee. Or you might not even have it at all. You know what I'm saying? That's the two things I could tell you. Or it's not going to launch with the game. It's going to be single player or co-op, but then the multiplayer will come in next year. They said massively No, they're not going to make a massive multiplayer game in 1 year. Okay? Now, the thing that made me talk about this game again is because I watched the trailer again and popped back up, and I reanalyzed it, right? I said, all right, let's pretend like everything we see here is legit, all right? It's still not a game. What they're showing us is sequences. See, look, all right. The next time it loops back, we're going to talk about it, but as of now, I'll keep on ranting. They're showing us sequences. They're showing us, you could drive, you go loot guns, you go to a place. You notice how they stay in one area, I'm pretty sure even in that trailer where they go through the mud and go to the town, I'm pretty sure they cut it. I'm not 1000% sure, but I'm pretty sure that they cut it so that it goes to driving and then they cut to the store. I'm pretty sure. I'm looking at the trailer now. I gotta mute it. So I'm looking at the trailer now. But while I look past that, all of it seems like it's a set. Like everything you see is a set of this, a set of that. So it's not even like they're showing us is basically a testing level with all the graphical stuff already in. They're showing us that you could modify weapons, you could customize your home, you can drive, you could go loot, but they don't show us all of that in one, to solidify this game into being this game is actually gonna happen. I'm in 100% need to see like a full playthrough. You gotta get some. You gotta get some streamers to play it. Get some YouTubers, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just not right. It doesn't make sense. and and it's gonna be way more acceptable, or like way more like, oh, this makes sense if you can formulate all of that into one like, let's say all the systems work separately, right? But when you put them together, they're terrible, right? You can say the lootings, you get too much loot or you get too little, right? So if you get, let's say you get too little, now you can't upgrade your guns. You can't upgrade your guns, you're gonna be dying a lot. You're gonna zombies, quote unquote players, you're gonna be dying a lot. And then you won't even have enough. Let's say you scrounge up barely enough to get your gun upgraded, or to get a house, or to get a car, and then you die. Then you gotta start over. And then it's kind of like Rust. Rust right now, the only reason Rust right now is popular, other than like the streamer influence that happened at one time, is because it's just such a brutal game, and that nobody's truly safe except for the clans. But nobody's truly safe. If you have a bad system, which is hard enough to get out of solo, right? It's gonna be extraordinarily hard to realize, okay, I just got a new car. Like DayZ, I don't understand why DayZ hasn't gotten more lax, right? Because I see a lot of DayZ videos. It's not really playing DayZ. It's more like trolling videos, stuff like that. So I can't say I know the DayZ culture all that much. But people are saying that it's a brutally hard game. And it's mainly just you get loot just to die. Okay? You can come back, stuff like that. And it's somewhat interesting. But I think that even DayZ will be more interesting than this game. Because all these different functions will never work, all right? And I think they're just gonna hype it up, right? The trailer's about to loop around. I'm gonna talk about it in a minute, but let me get this out. I think they're hyping it up so high that it's gonna do with Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk had a terrible launch. I love the game, terrible launch. It went to the top, and it's so many. They got a new company. They got more employees. They releasing like all this. They got so much money. They broken in top 10 on Steam. Like that's amazing. But it was a terrible launch. Now, if they said, "Oh, the game's not that good," it would have got mediocre sales and terrible name as a launch, right? So I think that's what they're trying to do. That's why they have the hush. They released one picture throughout the whole after they said this was going to delay. One picture, not a video, not progress, not a picture. You know what I'm saying? Like that. You know, it's whatever. But all right, let's talk about the game while it's on the screen. Right now, I was going through a bunch of like scenarios, blah blah blah, stuff like that. That scene was not multiplayer. Okay, people don't just, you know, you're not gonna just see people just sitting down. People have tried to do the, you know, home lobby type thing. It will never work. So that's obviously fake. The zombies could be real. The zombies and the shooting, they look decent enough, and you know it's not awfully terrible. That's not multiplayer either. Like, come on, let's not play around. Now, see, look, you have the particular sections. They don't show you entering them all. And back to the vehicle scene where it goes to the mud to the story, it didn't cut, so maybe that was a bigger scene, or you know, they actually show something decent. Who knows? But they don't actually show you going into the mall. They don't, like, you know, you don't. Is there loading screens? They haven't said that or showed that. Like, I'm pretty sure if you go into this giant place where all these mirrors are reflecting and this graphics, blah blah blah, I'm pretty sure you're gonna have somewhat of a loading screen. You know, loading screens, and you know, you got to preference stuff like this. You know, people are saying there's gonna be massive multiplayer. What's gonna happen if somebody somebody runs into the mall? Are they gonna be PvP blocked? Are they gonna be like, you know, like can they go through? What if somebody's camping the spawns, like because camping the front entrance? So when you spawn in, they just headshot. How does this fit into the world? The only way I can see this working is PvP block, but they haven't said anything about it, so it might not even be a thing. You know, and PvP block is if you're fighting somebody. Fuck what I'm talking about. This is what I wanted to talk about. People were raving about, like, the main question of my last video is, what do you do? What is the point? Oh, well, people's like, oh, you can build a house. Build a house? They added 4 flowers, a chair, and some trinkets. I'm not saying they did this. I can say, for example, I could go to the store, buy a house set that has all that stuff, remove all the trinkets and the additives and all the bullshit, and just boom, and then I could put on the top of the screen, build your base. And they didn't move no pillars. They didn't move no house. They didn't make it out of sturdy wood. They didn't make it out of, no. They put trinkets in front of the house. Like, come on, like. That's why I think that all these are specific scenarios to build the narrative that this is a full, complete game. And look, you can see it on their timeline. They was gonna release it this year. They're past their due date. It would have been released. Now they have a year to make up for and to put all these little features or instances into one looping command, into a hot mess is what it's gonna be. If they barely get this game out, it's gonna be terrible. All right, I'm just saying, that's why I'm telling you, don't waste your money, because they're gonna hype it to as much as they can to do a Cyberpunk. And can they come back? Probably, yeah, sure, whatever. Because Cyberpunk came back, and it took them around 2 years to come back, and they still have somewhat of a negative name. You know, it took I don't even know how long it took No Man's Sky, but they're in good graces now. Everybody says when they say No Man's Sky, oh, it got redeemed and stuff like that. People say that was Cyberpunk too, but less so it's whatever. But it's just all about if they lied or not, right? And I think that's the industry now. The industry is release a game, get as much hype around it as you possibly can. So even if it fails, even if it flops, even if it's dog water, right? Like, bro, guys, I'm pretty sure they're still doing Bully 2 or the next Bully. But what if Bully fails, bro? That'll be sad. But anyway, like, that's what the industry is. Hype it up as much as you can, right? Hype it up to the max. So even if it flops, you have enough money to quote unquote fix it, right? And then you get all this money from just from selling the game. The shitty game, even if it's shitty, right? And then they'll quote unquote fix it next 2 months, next 4 months, next year, next 2 years, just enough to where they'll be, oh, it's gotten better now, until the normal players are saying that, and then they'll move on to the next project. They'll say this is gonna be this and that. Cyberpunk said it was gonna be multiplayer. Is the new Cyberpunk Orion gonna be multiplayer? Most definitely. But is Cyberpunk? No, not even at the slightest. But that multiplayer's thought is what got me in. Not that specifically, but that was like, oh man, it's gonna be multiplayer too. Oh, that's cool. Might as well get it. It didn't work out. Stuff like that. Blah blah blah. Right. I think that's the industry now. And they'll do the bare minimum to fix it, and then they'll move on to the next project. And people are like, well, they made it better, so I'll just buy their next project. No. Bro, the people that made Cyberpunk, CD went from swords, shields, dragons, and cows to cybernetic cities, and you see how well that worked out. And now they're going from prop night, they're going from a witch with books and hiding and to a zombie apocalypse, massive multiplayer game, skyscrapers in a dense city populated area. Okay. Yeah, sure. Okay, sure. Yeah, okay. Now listen, Metro Exodus, right? I've never played the game, never watched the story mission, blah, blah, blah. I've just seen the game, right? And then I think that's the best looking game ever, right? And it's mainly because you might have to make categories for when you say best looking game, because stylization and also like moods work differently. Like Cyberpunk looks cool, Metro Exodus look cool, but that's like two different things. The original Life is Strange, most people say, oh, those are terrible graphics, but it's stylized. Minecraft is stylized. It's not you. The way you interpret it, the way that you see skill is on a realistic scale, but when as soon as they go into the Fortnite, Life is Strange, Minecraft, example of stylized game here, then you got to look at it from that point, right? So I'm saying that's what I I don't know the single plot point at Metro Exodus. I don't know nothing about Metro Exodus. I don't know if it did good. I don't know if it sold good. I don't know if it sold terrible. I don't know if there's a sequel. Blah blah. All I know is that game looks pretty, and that's the only thing this game got going for it. And I think the prettiness and the section of kind of examples or demonstrations of, oh, this definitely works how it's supposed to, is what people are going to be attracted by. But obviously the gamers and developers, me, can see through all the just overall just convoluted things, right? Now, I'm not one to just bash. I am also one to bash and then say, oh, this is how you fix it. Okay, first off, they gotta come clean. What do they have? I can't tell you how to fix your trash game or your non-existent game or your pieces of games, right? If you don't tell me what you have. Is there actually multiplayer? I highly doubt it. There's the three reasons I listed before. No username, right? But they keep all the other HUD options, right? Even if it's minimalistic, it's still HUD options, right? You know, the no fidgeting movement at all, like, you know, very weird. And also, you never see, like, all the people that's running around that like home base area. No, like, what? All that is nothing, right? Like, what do you even do? What is the objective of the game, right? Now you might say, oh, it's to survive. Okay, how do you survive? Oh, well, you build a house. Oh, you mean the house that you upgraded, you could put a flower down? Oh, you got customization? Oh, can you do it, like, you make it yellow or blue, the flower? Oh, that's cool. Okay, so what do you store in the house? Oh, the loot? Okay, so you store the house and the loot. Can you come in somebody's house and take it like Russ? No? Yes? No clue, right? They just showed a house and 3 flowers being changed and then put a wooden rocket chair out. Okay. And so let's say that it's Tarkov style. Anything you took in that the battle zone, quote unquote, right? You get to keep in your house. Nobody can steal it from you, right? What then? Oh, you can upgrade your guns. Okay. After that, upgrade your car. Okay. After that. Oh, yeah. Okay. What's the goal? Is it a PvP focused game? Because you could just say, oh, make guns, make this, go fight and get more guns, and you know, like, okay, Rust is like the same way, right? What is the goal of Rust? The goal of Rust is to build your base and survive, right? Very simple. Don't get raided, right? But let's say in Rust, you can't raid nobody. So anything that you take inside your house, you get to keep. What's the fun? Yeah, you could kill somebody, take some loot from them here and there. But you can't touch their main loot. You'll never be able to touch their main loot, right? And let's say it's more Tarkov style, that they have a wipe. Okay, so what was the point of the wipe? The point of Tarkov is to have a really realistic simulation of very serious tactics of the game, and you sell things, buy stuff here, right? If the objective is, let's just say right now, because we don't got nothing else. I'm going by videos. I don't care what they said in articles. I don't care what they said. I don't care about no cinematics. No, we're not doing that. We're basing it off the gameplay, quote unquote, trailers, right? To me, it looks like a house, right? So that means you go there, that's your house. It seems like it's on a different part. It didn't seem like it's connected to anything from the wide angle lens from camera shot that we got. So I'm just assuming that nobody can touch it, right? Okay. So you could go in. So I'm guessing the rest of it is PvP. And then you got the hub, whatever the fuck all that shit about. Why would you go to the hub? Trade, get with your friends, stuff like that. It's like hub orgs barely work anywhere. So just me seeing that is just like, it's already like questionable, right? Okay, let's say you go to the PvP outskirts, you loot, kill zombies, kill players if there are, quote unquote. Bring it back, upgrade your guns, blah blah blah, like, and then you go back. That's the gameplay loop. Get your house, go get guns, bring them back, upgrade, do it again. That's the gameplay loop. Is the only one I can think of, right? If that gameplay loop is lackluster, unbalanced, if there's any bugs, glitches, connection issues, even if there's multiplayer, then that's all they have. That's literally all they have, right? That's all they have. That's all they've shown us. So it's got to be there's got to be something else. Maybe events, because Russ has like if you go to monuments and you could destroy the Bradley tank, and then somebody else might come get you because it shows on the mini map, stuff like that. So they can have something like that. I haven't seen the mini map, right? They haven't showed that multiplayer literally exists, because those are not players. I don't know what it is exactly. It could be pre-recorded, right? And it's just moving along with the player. The player might not even be real, but yeah, I think the player's real. Not to some extent, to some extent, because you won't see. I already said you won't see the glitch. You won't see the stuttering. Which play the most? Yeah, I already said that. But it's just, guys, the overall point of this, right? This rant, this long-winded story about this, that, and that, is that this is how games are going to be now. Games are all games that are AAA are going to be like this to some extent, right? Now, you could trust the companies that do right somewhat. Rockstar. I think Rockstar knows what they're doing. I think Face Punch, another company, I like what they're doing. I wish I could say CD Projekt Red, but we'll see after Phantom Liberty comes out, right? We'll see after Phantom Liberty comes out, right? Because people say, oh, you're talking about this game, but you like Cyberpunk, the game that came out the worst. You don't even got a game. Your game's not even out. At least, yeah, my game came out shit, but your game's not out. Your game got pushed back, right? You're going to be sitting here waiting for a game that is not going to drop. And if it does, it's going to be terrible. Yes, Cyberpunk was first announced 6 years ago, 7 years ago, whatever. People have been watching it and it dropped terribly. But it sold so much that they bought new offices. They got everything. They breaking records off a terrible game. Now, glitching is but I already talked about that. I'm not here to defend Cyberpunk or whatever. Again, whatever. I'm here to talk about that they're gonna do the same thing. This game was talked about 3 to 2 years ago. They're gonna hype it up so high that even if it's trash, which it may be, it has a high likelihood of being terrible. And if it's not terrible, I'll take it back. Blah blah blah. Whatever. I don't really care. I'm just saying. Even if it comes out and it's amazing, I'm still criticize them. Terrible advertising, like terrible trailers overall. But I'll say whatever I got to say. But the overall gist of this, right, is that they're trying to sell as much as they can. So they're not going to show you the bugs and glitches. They're not going to show you multiplayer. If their multiplayer was working, they will show you it. That's the secret. If the multiplayer was working and they would have showed you it, because multiplayer would have sold it. It would have sold it out the roof. If it was single player, it would have, okay, it's a cool singer. If it was multiplayer, it would have sold. It would everybody go, oh my god. But they didn't show multiplayer. They did not show multiplayer. They said it was multiplayer. They said massively multiplayer game in the articles and that stuff, whatever. And then they showed players, quote unquote, running around, talking, shooting. Right? Those are not players. They can't say that this is multiplayer footage because it's gonna be lying, right? And then they get caught up in lawsuits, whatever. Those are not players. Definitely, the enemies in the store are not players. Are the house and the other scene? Highly doubt that's players. Highly doubt. I can say what most certainly it is not. Almost. I wish I could say 100%, but I've seen. It depends, right? But I can guarantee it's way more likely that they don't have multiplayer that would have showed it, right? They don't have a way or easy way to link up different sections. Like I said, the mall and the outside world. Where is the mall? They don't show a mini map. If the mini map was working, they would have showed the mini map. There, guys, you're looking at this from the pictures. The pictures. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at the car. It popped. Oh, look at this. They're in the mall. Oh, look at this. He's getting ambushed in the store. Oh, look at this. He's in a tank or a Humvee, bro. Look at any other game. Look at Division. Look at DayZ, because that's the closest games that we could compare it to. Where's the minimap? I don't play Division, but I know Division has a minimap. I know, for example, I don't play Division. I know Division has a minimap. Division has multiplayer. They show multiplayer. DayZ has a minimap. Where's the minimap at? You guys are missing out the key features. I don't even know if they had a compass. Hold on, I'm looking right now. I'm looking at the trailer right now to see if they got a compass. They don't even have a compass. Now you might be saying, who cares about the compass? Who cares about the minimap? Those are necessary to some extent gameplay features and quality of life changes that every game in that genre has to some extent. Now that like even Fortnite has it or had it at one point. I heard something happen with it. I don't know. Now the compass can be iffy, but the minimap, if they don't, that minimap, it's never been shown. You know, it's never been shown. I know DayZ has like the whole the map is like your inventory, I believe, or something along those lines. I don't play much of either game, but those are most similar games. Guys, you're looking at the big picture. You gotta look at the small pictures. Where's the username above the other character's head if it's multiplayer? We have never seen a character die. What does it look like when you die? We haven't seen that. We haven't seen you die. We haven't seen you respawn. We haven't seen you do anything. We haven't seen you eat. I'm pretty sure there's a hunger bar or a hunger circle, whatever the fuck. Hold on, I'm looking at it right now. All right, there's cold, there's energy, and there's water. I haven't seen them drink. Now, are there cartons and milk and water in the inventory? Probably. I haven't checked. I haven't seen them drink. What does it look like when you drink? Why do you get out the car at slow as molasses? What if you're getting shot at? Do you still get out the car like it's like a leisurely day? Like, these are questions, you know, that need to be answered. But there's nothing. They have to do all this in like a year. It's almost been half a year. They got half of a year left. This is what's gonna happen. It's gonna come out, and it's gonna be hyped up, and it's gonna be disappointing. Whether or not, even if it's decent, half decent, they're gonna be disappointed because they're leaving it up to your imagination. You know how in some stories, in some movies, they won't completely finish off or finish a tale of story. Like he might walk into the store, but you don't know what happened to him because it's the end of the movie, blah, blah. They're leaving it up. You know how the scenes that they leave up to your imagination. They don't say exactly what happened. They want you to infer. The entire, what's it called? The game. Little Nightmares, especially 2. Little Nightmares and Little Nightmares 2 have zero dialogue. Zero dialogue. There's barely words. There's words here and there. Dialogue. There's no dialogue. There's barely words. All you get is grunts and moans, right? You have to infer what the hell's going on, because they're not writing it out for you. You have to figure out what's going on. Nobody can say for certain that they know exactly what's going on. There's symbolism here. You can connect some dots, but overall, there's not a concrete story between Little Nightmares 1 and 2 because they don't use dialogue, and that's what's happening now. They're giving you little instances, little blurts, this, and they want you. They're letting your mind, right? They're letting your mind connect the dots. They say, oh, okay, so if you're in the mall, then that means you obviously drove there with your car after you fixed it, after it broke down, and then you went to your house, and then you went to blah, 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 then you went to the center. They're making you think that they have a complete game by you linking the islands. The islands are the instances, right? The car, the guns, the house customization, They want you to link those together. You know that little keypad in the thing when he pressed the wrong buttons and linked it. I saw some people were reacting to it. It was like, oh, what if you, when you don't? They came up in police cars. So what if there's like police officers? No, that's exactly what the trailer wants you to do. They want you to think. They want you to. They're gonna give you something that you can latch onto, so to connect the dots. They got the dots. They want you to connect them, and when you connect all the dots, you see a perfect game, right? But if you look at the dots and you don't draw those lines, you say, where the hell are these dots supposed to go? How the hell did they get here to here? That's what I want to know. That's what people confuse it. It gets to a point where, like, guys, the consumers of games have been hit multiple times by trashy games, right? We say, oh man, they did us dirty. I'm not gonna buy the next one. You buy the next one. There's people that buy the Call of Duty every year, and I ain't talking about content creators that gotta do it because it's like the new Call of Duty. Why wouldn't you? I'm talking about people that just like, oh, I'm gonna buy the new Call of Duty every year, whether it's good or not. They're gonna buy it, right? Whether it's good or not, they're gonna buy it. They're gonna buy it, play it, trash it, right? There's gonna be a new one every year. They're never gonna fall off because even if one's trash, another developer makes a similar one, and it could be better or worse, regardless. But that's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be trailers with islands, and it's gonna be hype up to sell garbage, dog shit. And I don't know how people don't realize that. I've been ranting. It's annoying, right? Because the first video I made, everybody was screaming at me, yelling at me, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, it's gonna release. And it got delayed. The day before the lie. Don't buy that piece of shit.